All right, continuing our reasons for why we believe we are in the little season. You know, this is the way I started the last one, but again, this is why we believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have differing views. One thing that gets me personally, I cannot make any sense of it, is to believe that the Bible could be changed, like the Mandela effect, and still believe we're in the little season. Because I would say, we know we only got here because of our belief in the Bible. Like our foundation is to put that first, right? And I see this as such. Like to me, I feel like this is clown world, circus act, is like
Yeah.
to, and I think, am I saying this well?
Oh, I think you are. I just have something that I know since we've talked about this before. Go ahead. Yeah.
But I feel like it's like, like how could we get to this point and then question the very reason we're here? We wouldn't be little seasoners if we believe in the Mandela effect, because I would say, well, why isn't Revelation 20 verse 7 through 10, why isn't that completely made up? Why isn't that Mandela? Like, why would we believe in Jesus?
Yeah, we don't even put that chink in the door, because if you play that out.
Well, if you play that out, you go, well, how much? This much?
Dad,
this
do
much?
not eat grapefruit.
Yeah.
But I think, do you want me, will you forget what you
Yeah,
said?
go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I was going to chime in with is that I do think you're sort of pursuing something all the way to the end is a gift and a good thing to be like, no, we have to stand firm here because of look at this unraveling that will happen. I do think there are people that kind of like hold on to the gray area and don't get set off on a Gnostic track or a Judaizer track. But that's still really rare. Let's use my dad as an example because we've used him before. He realized that the 1,000-year reign was past. But then he just kind of kept that in a little box, and he didn't let it erode his faith that there was all of this conflict against that within 501c3s. He didn't pursue any more things. And I'm not saying that's the way to be either, but the one thing is he did still hold on to his faith. But what we see is when you let that chink in the door, a lot of people can lose their faith and can let it unravel. We've seen that happen too, where people are like, oh, I'm just going to believe in Jesus being love. And then, oh, I don't really like the Bible anyway. And then eventually they're lost.
Yeah. And I see this as the attack for little seasoners. Right? Mm-hmm. It's probably the next logical thing for Satan to do is be like, dang, these guys like take God's word seriously. Let's just throw this one in. Let's give them a story about CERN. And at first, when I heard about Mandela effect and Berenstein Bears, I was like, yeah, it's definitely not AIN. It's EIN. And
the monocle on Monopoly guy. And...
Well, no. I mean, that one alone, Berenstein, because that's the book I read all the time. My friend's mom had like every single one. And, but in the end, that, again, if that's the case, we're lost. We are lost in the quagmire of insanity.
Yeah.
And I would say, if you believe in the Mandela effect, you get to choose whatever you want to believe. Right?
Yeah, and then you're just right with everybody who's like, create your own reality, anything goes.
Exactly. You choose. Oh, well, that's not an abomination. That's fine. I can get divorced and remarried if I want. That was changed. Jesus thought it was fine. You know, obviously Jesus may not have said it, but that's because Mandela took it out. You know, you could justify anything you wanted to do.
You could justify it, and then to me it would cause extreme anxiety because then truly all is sinking sand.
And I didn't mean that I wanted to get divorced, by the way.
Well, thank you.
I'm saying for those people in that case.
Or those weirdos who see that the grass might be greener.
That's not what I meant. I just
I give him a hard time all the time.
I've read this book about...
No, speaking of that would lead me to extreme anxiety, depression, fear, is because I kind of want to live how we live and with our morals, but there would be nothing to hold anyone else to or to hope that you believed in.
Right.
And let's say things did get rocky. I'm just sitting there saying, please, for no good reason, do like this.
Think of God in the Ten Commandments in the tablets of stone. Okay. That's pretty, like, the reason God engraved it in stone is like it is set in stone. What Mandela effect does is say it's not set in stone, right? And like that's our God. The same God is giving us a sure word. And if you erode that, let the Mandela effect or whatever else is in there.
I have a little bit of great food.
And then all of a sudden you've got nothing left. You've got whatever you want to choose. And okay, so let's talk about the Book of Enoch. So the King James Bible is sacred in my mind. And maybe I'm a head case because I have to have that. Maybe other people don't have to have that, but I have to have it. Do you have to have it?
Well, I might be one of those people that could. What I'm saying is, the truth of the Bible is what I also live by and want to be true. For I think in most ways, and so then to remove that from my understanding of how reality works, how relations work, what's right and wrong, how do you treat people, to remove that would be horrifying, actually. And so now I forgot what your question was.
Well, mine is like, I realize that I'm the kind of person that's really got to figure it out and set it up and live a certain way. I can't have a squishy black and white. I think that's what.
And the reason I think that you're like that is because religion has been abused in your life and has abused you. People have used religion to abuse you. Well, so you're like, if we're going to make this wishy-washy and someone can say it's the will of God that you do this then and can then take that out on you, you're like, no.
Well, in my own defense, I'll say, psychology aside of who I am, it just really doesn't make sense to sort of accept, like then we're
cherry pig.
Whatever. So let's go to the Book of Enoch next. I was listening to Kingdom in Context, Sean something. He's a flat earther, but doesn't believe second coming's happening. Really likes the first book Enoch, first book of Enoch, not the second and third. Then he goes into the reasons why. He's like, first Enoch was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. I go, what? And it's authenticated. Every scholar believes it was written between the 3rd and the 4th century, I think he said. And 2nd and 3rd Enoch were written later, and they're wrong. It gives this big historical sort of account of 1st Enoch versus 2nd and 3rd Enoch. And then, and he holds 1st Enoch to be totally congruent with the Bible. Congruent, is that the right word? I'm trying to seem smarter than I am. The same.
Congruent lines.
Yes. Okay. And then then I listened to that and I looked it up. Scholars really do sort of believe that this was all found with the Dead Sea Scrolls. And if you know what we know the Dead Sea Scrolls are a total psyop, NASA technology to use their telescopes to read and define and give us all these.
The same technology that can look deep into the blackness of deep space and still see things there is the technology they use on the blackened remains of the Dead Sea Scrolls to figure out what they read. It just needs to be analyzed by Hebrew scholars who don't believe in God.
Right. And this is where you go about, again, the clown world, because that's not even the right location. The caves of Qumran in the over there in fake Israel. So there's so many things that I would question, like, well, why are they inserting this into the narrative? And why are they backing this up with their fake stories? So again, it could be true, but I just don't allow that to form my reality, because it could also not be true. What are the possible pitfalls? Like, if God gave us the King James Bible, That was translated. Again, I believe that was translated into English, the tongue of angels, during the little season. And I believe the King James...
Not during the little season. It's 1,000 years.
During the 1,000-year reign. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll bet that James is the brother of Jesus.
Mm.
Okay. So
could be. I mean, we're never not going to know that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, some comment on here was like, down with flat Earth, but I'm a Catholic, and there's just too many stories of saints being martyred for me to walk away from the church.
Mm.
Okay, and I think that's what the Catholics do. Man, dude, they really put you to your emotions to the test, because they're going to tell about martyrs, and man, can you get a lot of leverage when you make a sob story.
Those could be true tribulation stories.
They could, sure. Well, again,
you know, it's
I don't want to make light of what people suffered. In Hebrews, it talks about people being sawn asunder.
Yeah.
Dad, when my goats go,
I'll help
into
you.
wood.
And being sawn asunder is no joke. And so if that happened, that's I'm not saying people didn't get martyred, but the Bible itself doesn't go into details. We know James was killed by the sword and thrown off, so there's a double whammy. But Peter, Jesus hints that it's not going to be great for him. But there's no story of him being crucified upside down. If you're married to that, that comes through non-biblical sources. And again, I just keep coming back to this. Like, how could we be where we are without that concrete foundational belief that God has preserved a sure word for us? So that's the first thing I had to get off my chest. Now, this is why I believe it. Plenty of other people have arrived in the same place. I just would worry that you don't stay here. You end up into a Gnostic belief.
Because of course there's one of those, you know, Satan has one of those tracks. Those, I just always picture like railroad tracks, because we like them anyway, right? And 1,000-year reign tracks. Mm-hmm. And he's got those laid for, you know, you think you're far down the path and there isn't something that could shake you, and then like, oh well, here comes this along trying to give a shot at it.
Yeah. And
to me, if you know, our foundation and all else is sinking sand, light unto our feet, you know, if we can't have that surety, then that's pretty scary.
Right. And I realize the Bible is assured. Let's see, it approves itself.
Oh yeah.
Okay, there's this one guy who talks about patterns in the King James Bible. What's his name? Oh man, I'm subscribed to him.
There's a few of them. I always love that poster. Let's talk about that.
Well, there are patterns that come throughout, which is like when you see that the middle word of the Bible is this, or the middle psalm is this, and it, or the way it uses the word God, a certain pattern of times and sevens, and you start unpacking that the exact word count has different repeating patterns, you realize that God has packed into this a sort of amazing, what do you call it, ciphers? What do they call them? That's kind of the...
Well, that I start to feel like makes it this impossible treasure hunt.
But you haven't heard this. No, it's like a fractal. It's like you go, oh my gosh.
Oh, here it is.
This is
Chris
beautiful.
Harrison. This is the thing I've always loved and somehow failed to order. But just this image, if that'll show up at all. Each one of those lines is something that agrees with another part of the Bible. And I think the white on the bottom is all of the verses and references.
But you can do that with any translation. That's not a King James only. That's just kind of like cross-referencing.
Okay.
She's not...
Oh, cross-references. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm talking about King James. Like how that in and of itself. It's the guy that... well, whatever. I'll try to put it in the comments. But there are patterns there, and I'm not even sure I understand all of them, but I've listened to a lot of his videos. And this guy's not a little seasoner. He's not a flat earther, but he is a King James guy. And he realizes that these patterns could not be by chance, that man could not have done this. So these are the reasons I'm compelled to believe it's the King James. Again, I don't know how you get here otherwise. If you get here with the Geneva Bible, great.
It is King James, though.
It is King James?
Okay, but this is cross references. But yeah.
Yeah, right. So I would say I'm not trying to convince you, but I really do believe. What are we doing here? Are we trying to convince people?
Well,
this is what we believe.
Yeah.
And I like that, because it's like, if you believe the Bible, the Apocrypha were taken out, I don't know what to say to you, because if Satan had that power to do that, why would we have anything at all? Why wouldn't we just have like the Book of Toad and Frog and Toad, and like that's all we ever got?
Yeah.
His attacks are levied against the King James Bible.
Right.
And once you see that, you go, oh my gosh, you see all these stories about who King James was, and they just throw dirt and make up stories about his being a homosexual. How could you believe those if you're a little seasoner, because you believe that time when he was a homosexual isn't even around?
Yeah, right.
You're like, what? You can't be here and believe those stories.
Yeah, and that's
you could be a little seasoner, sure.
Well, that's where we also believe it's a choice. What we're saying right now.
Sure.
A sort of faith choice, but
yeah.
If anybody cares about this is Chris Harrison's poster. Now, right below it has some stuff on fake Israel, so
What other book do we have? We have the
Oh yeah, that lady that's a futurist, but she has some great points about King James.
Yeah, this is New Age Versions, Gail Riplinger. And man, does she get into what was changed? I love these things, because they'll show like King James, NIV, NASB, New King James, and show you what words were changed. Mm-hmm. And like the New King James, for example, they have to change at least 10%.
So they can have their own copyright and market this through their own business.
So that means that they're compelled to change it, even when what the King James Bible says is plenty clear. They're compelled to change. Mm-hmm. So imagine the silliness, Bethany, of being in the 1,000-year reign, mm-hmm. and a bunch of people running around with different translations. Be like, let's read the Bible together, and then they're like, which translation?
Yeah.
Let's do a book club. Let's read Shakespeare. Mm-hmm. Well, what version of Shakespeare do you want? Do you want the new Shakespeare? Or let's all read different ones.
Yeah,
together. Yeah. So you do your lines out of the New King James. You do the NIV Shakespeare.
And people get together and they're like, "Oh, this is fun." It just like shows all these different dimensions of it. But that's when you're just, I don't know, having fun comparing things. You're not trying to get down to the nitty gritty of something. Right. You're just like, oh.
Right. And I'm going to say this again, because people may not have watched the other videos. Why do I believe in the King James Bible? Like, if you back up before that, during the 1,000-year reign, I believe everyone came together for one language, because of Zephaniah says, I will turn the people to a pure language, that they may worship me with one accord. This is during the 1,000-year reign.
With one accord.
With one accord.
Pretty cool.
So it's like what happened at the Tower of Babel was undone for the millennial reign. And you'd say, of course, all peoples would come together with one tongue.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Paul talks, if I speak with the tongue of men or of angels and have not love, I am nothing. Mm-hmm. Okay, they were aware at that point that there was a tongue of angels.
Charity, have not charity.
I'm sorry.
See, that's why that matters.
Charity.
What is love?
Yeah. I am nothing. So they understood that the angels had their own tongue, that they had a way to speak. And I do believe Latin was reverse engineered from it. and it was Latin written on the cross. I looked it up again.
Oh, you did.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah. So I believe that tongue of angels, English, was what was spoken during the millennial reign. I think what they did is they took the Bible from Hebrew, Greek, and Latin, whatever the tongue that it was translated from, and put it into English. Then now, whatever they do or pretend to do is only Satan's, like, it's like another translation. It's like, now let's go back to Hebrew, change those meanings to change this meaning. And who's at the forefront of that? Those that say they're Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. So do we trust them to give us the actual meaning of the Hebrew words?
Right. How are they going to deal with the prophecies of Jesus, for example, in the Old Testament, when they don't believe that Jesus was Jesus?
We're right back to clown world.
It's
right
like,
back.
We can't trust that then?
So I believe the King James Bible didn't used to be called the King James Bible. It used to be called the Holy Bible. Even if you talk to your grandparents, I still have my grandma around. And my grandma on my other side, every year she'd send us King James Bible. Didn't matter how many we had, she'd send them out to all her grandchildren.
And I have my grandmother's King James Bible. Okay.
So
let me know when you need help.
So that generation didn't have translations. They only had the Holy Bible. They just believed that this was it. And it wasn't until 1979 with the new King James Bible that this has changed. So this is recent. I was born, that was 45 years ago. The year I was born is when they came out with that. So this is not that old to be attacking God's word.
And look at what it's done. Oh, well, this is my Bible. Well, my Bible says this. Well, how about this latest Bible? And you're just in this game of like, which one has a prettier cover and a cooler thing?
And then also, let's skip around when we don't want it. When we're confused, let's go, oh, well, this one says.
Let's look at a more modern translation to figure that out.
Tell you what, I did a Bible study with 4 or 5 guys, and I was like, at that point, I was New King James. I was like, do you guys all, is that okay, New King James? And it was offensive to some of them because one of them was in the Message. Okay? Well, we can't do that.
And then one of them believed that God was genderless, and so you've got to find a Bible that supports that.
That puts she in there. So that is what has happened from my grandmother's time.
Actually, I already want to correct myself.
Yeah.
Whether we don't know about God's gender, but what we can be sure of is that God as a father figure is he and father and whatever and whatever. Like if we start to say how does gender interact with God, so it starts getting kind of weird.
I've never heard her say that,
but,
and I this is where I go, no.
Oh,
God is Father.
Well, yeah.
And then please don't do that. Oh my goodness, erase that.
People start doing weird sexual things that cause other problems. But
there are mysteries that we don't understand.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was trying to
But a lot of Rob Skiba's cohorts would say the Holy Spirit was the feminine part. And then it gets...
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to do that either.
I allow that to be a whole, I don't know, but I sure as hell I ain't going to pontificate on what I don't know.
Yeah.
And the Bible doesn't say anything about that. So
that's right.
I leave that away. Paul talks about the mystery of the Godhead. And I do have a lot of questions about things. And even, what's life going to be like? Are we going to be like the angels that we don't get married? And anyhow, I don't know what those things are like, but anyhow, Beth got me now I'm thinking about different things. Yeah, I'm like, what? Who are you?
Stop. That just around Skiba and whatever that guy was all I was trying to avoid.
No.
His name starts with a Z, but anyway.
Oh, Zen Garcia.
Yeah, thank you. What I love when you start thinking about English being the of one accord language during the 1,000 years, is when we just look at the world around us and see how English is so dominant. And if you've done any traveling, it's so wild to go to a foreign country and you're sitting there not knowing a single word. But don't worry, a lot of people know English, and most people, if they're educated to any degree in these places, are forced to learn English too. Well, how in the world is that possible? oh, because America is so great and has lots of money.
No, they say British. They say British, yeah.
Whatever. Right. What about China? Why are we all speaking Chinese? Supposedly they have...
oh, don't worry, that's coming, they say. Yeah, right.
It's just incredible to see not only how dominant English is, but how most of the other languages are related to it, where you can guess and think of how many languages use the same alphabet still, even if they've developed a different iteration of the language. It's like, this cannot be explained by some bizarre evolutionary thing. It's just as stupid as saying that we came from primordial ooze, is say that English evolved. Yeah,
it's ludicrous. Yeah. If anything that we can see, again, with like the 60 feet of sediment that built up over 2,000 years, we go, well, we can prove that doesn't happen. We see that doesn't happen. We can see that English doesn't change in terms of like adapting from this simpleton Old English to what we have. But we can see that English gets crasser and crasser and simpler, and words get eliminated, taken out of our vocabulary. We can read vocabulary. Yeah. We can read George MacDonald, 150-year-old book, and see that his vocabulary was beautiful. His use of English language was amazing. I'm not saying he was a controller and didn't steer our thoughts, but it was way better than anything that they're pumping out now.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between usage and working vocabulary versus like the language changing itself.
So yeah, exactly what I was going to say. 150-year-old book. If English evolves, then I should be like confused as I read that. The only thing I am is like, let me get a dictionary out. What does that word mean? Oh, cool. I haven't heard that used. And then thank you. I'm going to utilize that now.
Yeah.
It has not evolved in terms of
that's the joke. That's just like saying King James can't be understood. It's like very easy to understand.
That's the other thing that they throw is like, oh, you can't understand it. These and thous are gonna just make your head spin.
Our children haven't had any trouble figuring that out. It's not that it's part of their working vocabulary to say that, he presideth or whatever. But
and here's what's really beautiful about it. It is the way you should be teaching your children to read. As you read through the Psalms or Proverbs, often the word is used in a way in context that you understand it. And then, or sometimes there's two words side by side. And you go, oh, it fills out your knowledge of the words. This is where I believe it's perfect, is like, it is the teaching tool. People be like, oh, you think the Bible's the only book you need? I go, oh yeah. No doubt. I mean, that, okay, is that all right? If it's a perfect book, isn't that all right? And this is what our children learn to read with. And so, okay, man, we did 28 minutes of King James stuff. Oh, this is going to make people fired up. But it's, if I read through the comments, it's probably the one thing. Somebody was like, what about the spell language, morning, good morning, and all the slew of them. It's not that I haven't seen that and looked into that, but there's also the other side of it, of, how the words mean multiple things, and sometimes it's beautiful. So, I don't know what to make of that. That doesn't make me think English is some sort of cursing language. I don't think so. All right, what else are we going to talk about? All right, so another thing that we see as we look at the world around us, more reasons why we believe we're in the little season, is we see them playing out the theatrical production of getting ready for the rapture, second coming, and tribulation, all that stuff. We see the theater of it all, and hear how important this is for Christians to believe in it. And as we see it, it's like we see through it. It's like the COVID narrative, where we go like, wait, what? This doesn't add up. This doesn't make sense. And then whatever pokies they want to send out, we just sort of watched it like incredulously, like, this isn't the truth, right? And now we can see through it all and see them in their pageantry and kind of laugh our way through it. And I don't mean laugh in terms of they're stupid, just like we don't fall for it. So we're watching them try, and we don't buy it anymore.
Yeah, not that we don't believe there are horrible poisonous things that cause sicknesses, and whether you want to call that virus or not, whatever it is, we realize that you can be stuck in bed for 2 weeks with something horrible. But the response to that and what that is, and then what you should do after that, it becomes.
And where did that come from?
Pageantry.
Did that come from 6 feet? Did that come from not wearing a mask? Did that come from not getting a pokey? That's where all the lies came in. Was there something bad? Oh yeah. Can they make plagues and sicknesses come? Yeah. Right? Is it happening the way they say? And are we spreading it? And no. That's where we saw through.
What should you do about it? Get some unknown thing shot into your body?
Right. So with this, I think seeing them getting ready for this does get me excited that something's happening. But also, I listened to a guy named Tyler Woods, Woodz, and he was painting us. He's a little seasoner, gone from atheist to a little seasoner. I like him. You don't know anything about him, but he painted a scenario of what may happen in the coming months that would really leverage believing that the second coming was imminent to make people follow a false version of Jesus. And as he was talking, I was like, wow, that really would be a clever deception, and get people to, and this is what it hinged on. It hinged on the new fake Jesus being convincing us that things in the Bible that we've misunderstood them, and towards a one world religion, towards and so that we're left thinking that the second coming of Jesus comes with a Jesus that's teaching us pretty much unbiblical things. And so are we going to accept that, or are we going to stand on the Bible? Whoa, man, what's that all about?
That's happy.
Oh, they're just celebrating being done stacking wood, so couldn't figure out what that was. I forgot what I was saying.
The fake Jesus following.
Oh, so I would imagine, say this fake Jesus is a healer too. Oh, and you might be like, what are you talking about now? Well, if they actually do have a entity that does come on the clouds and looks like Jesus, and
who, by the way, we don't know what he looks like,
we
have start on that,
and does like even a fake rapture, and maybe even a healer, right? Like, do they know how to make us well? The satanic deceivers, do they know how to make us well?
Healing signs and wonders.
Yeah, I could tell you a story right now that wrenches my heart out, but I won't. But they not only have the poison, they have the antidote, or they have the knowledge of the old world to bring health. And so it wouldn't even be miraculous. Do they know cymatics, and do they know the old healing waters? Do they understand the things that were here during the millennial reign? Yeah. Could they use those again? Yeah. Have they actually twisted the things that Jesus made to make electromagnetic pulse, things that EMF that actually cause disease? Oh yeah, they do that to us all the time. So could they reverse that and use it in healing ways, the way that it was made? We only got 5 minutes.
Sure, it's all possible. So then, who would follow it? How would that go? It would be another mass confusion.
And can you imagine being sick, being diseased, and having somebody that made you well, that supposedly came on the clouds, supposedly is Jesus' second coming. Maybe he's doing a quick pit stop, getting the rapture, and going. And then that feeling of like, was that really, even a little seasoner might go, oh, wait, am I wrong about what I believe? You see how it could even hit us if we don't believe the Bible. We don't expect a third coming of Jesus. We see what happens at the end of Revelation 20 is like fire rains down. And I had a thought this morning, and I don't know if this is right, but supposedly if you watch Moon Henry, which again I don't recommend, there's a fire in like every European Mediterranean country right now. And I wondered if surrounding the camp of the saints, this is a new thought, wasn't some voluntary surrounding. I thought, what if it was heating up, and mankind was pushed all towards where it wasn't burning, and if that was in the northerly direction, or whoa. My goodness.
That was my stomach.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just said in a northerly direction. Oh my goodness. No, we're not that weird. We are weird. Put us on the weird, but not that weird. Our stomach. Yeah, I think you're crazy, baby. So that's some fun for a Wednesday morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever it is, we've got to know the Bible so we know what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are you going to go on? How it feels?
Right. And you see how much hinges on our belief in the Bible. And some people also are saying that Jesus is the Word, and Scripture and the Word are different things.
Oh, yeah.
And you read John, 1 John, you go, yeah, there's some stuff here that I don't quite understand, nor does anyone. Because I would say that 1 John makes you, if you're confident going into 1 John, you read 1 John, you go, whoa, what? Because that's what I do. I go, I thought I knew a lot of things, but now I'm really confused. Regardless, we're going to have a sure word to follow in the little season. And if we don't, then I think God should be like, hey, you did your best. It was a good idea. It was pretty close. And you had a heart for me, so way to go. That's all God could do. But if he does give us a sure word and we don't follow it and we eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, then we're liable, right? We're either liable or we're not liable. If Mandela effect, then I'd look at God and go, come on, this ain't fair.
Yeah, if the Bible, if we can't trust the Bible, then it's just like maybe there's some sort of like, were you a good person and you tried? I mean,
right. Then it's are you a good person? And in that case, I am a good person. So I'm good either way. Right? I mean, I'm not going to Epstein's Islands, right? I care for people and I love people, and I'm not. I would say I have a good friend who has now gone into the denial of everything, and she says that if I'm a loving person, and if God doesn't love me, then I don't want to be with Him, right? It's almost a version of that. Be like, well, am I that bad? No. I mean, I'm not hurting people, and I'm generally loving people, and that would kind of be what you're left with.
Sure, but we aren't relying on a God who's subject to our level of reasoning and our understanding, because that is what our level of reasoning and understanding brings us to.
Right, but
alone. That's all we have alone.
That's not true.
Yeah.
But if that were true, that's where
I know. I remind myself, and I guess other people, because I'm saying it on here, that we have to have a fear of God and a belief that He is much higher and more capable and thinking differently than we are. Because if it's just a matter of what we can reason out, well, again, what do we have there?
And is it possible for God to preserve His word in a little season? You go, yeah, it is possible. He is able. It is the one thing I see that like chaps Satan, is that he can't eliminate this.
Undo that. Yeah.
So because this is his undoing. So hey, we got no more time because we only have this much space.
Oh yeah, we gotta delete some stuff.
All right, see you guys.